It's time now for Uncancelled. And this is where Britain's top commentators speak out on controversial issues without the fear of the cancel culture sweeping the rest of the media. Tennis ace Novak Djokovic reclaimed the world #1 spot yesterday with a historic win at the Aussie Open, his 22nd Grand Slam title. Of course, this time last year, the Serb had a torrid time down under after the Australian COVID zealots blocked his route into the country before deporting him due to his vaccination status. So just take a look at the stark contrast between that sorry affair and yesterday's celebrations.
It's never showed as much emotion as this sustained period. It has to be because it's here in Australia. His most favourite place, he said, to play, his most favourite court. But that, certainly from last year and this, the events of this week, it's different feelings of emotion, all wrapped up in that winning feeling, you would imagine.
Well, I'm delighted to be joined tonight by another sporting sensation, England star Matt Le Tissier. So, Matt, come on, after being demonised last year by the anti-science COVID extremists, is Djokovic's victory this weekend sort of like the ultimate revenge?
I thought it was amazing. Now, normally when I watch sporting events, I don't really have any dog in the fight. I tend to cheer on the underdog, but not in this one. I thought he thoroughly deserved his victory. I think it was an absolutely brilliant way to stick two fingers up at Dan Andrews and the rest of the communists in Australia. And the feeling there, you just saw all the emotion pour out of him. And it was just incredible. I mean, the person that won last year knows that there'll be an asterisk by the side of their name because Djokovic wasn't there. I mean, it's been his tournament. He's won it so many times. And it is absolutely amazing. You know, he was ridiculed last year. They made an example of him. And I thought it was disgusting the way that he was treated last year. And you know what? I listened back to the interview that he gave the BBC, or the PPC as I like to call them, about a 35-minute interview where this interviewer tried his very hardest. It was a disgusting interview. The tone of it was awful. He was just trying for his gotcha moment. And Djokovic's answers were absolutely sensational. He came across as a man of integrity who was willing to apologise when he got things wrong. And I thought he was absolutely superb in that interview.
It is incredible to think, isn't it, Matt, just how much has changed within a year. Because, of course, as you point out, Dan Andrews, who is the despicable Premier of Victoria, the state in Australia, which has Melbourne as its capital city, I mean, they were demonising this man. They were talking about him as a threat to Australian safety. And a lot of those people need to hold their head in shame. Now, they want to move on, don't they? They don't want to talk about it. But we must, because it was only a year ago, Matt.
It is incredible. You know, it was just a shame Dan Andrews wasn't in the audience to witness it, quite frankly. That would have been nice if he'd have sat right next door to Bill Gates, who was there, must have been squirming in his seat to see this unvaccinated individual and an injured unvaccinated individual as well, because he had a bit of an injury that he was carrying and still managed to win the tournament. I mean, how does he do that? I mean, this man shouldn't even be breathing, should he?
Well, indeed. And all of a sudden, it's a little bit more difficult, isn't it, to turn this anti-vax tag into something negative, Matt. It's like tonight, we've been talking about reclaiming the word turf, because actually turf isn't a bad thing. Nicola Sturgeon today has had to effectively admit she is a turf. And I think the same thing with anti-vaxxers. It was used as a term of sort of extreme derision, really. And I think Djokovic actually is the ultimate proof that actually don't just brand someone anti-vax. You've got to look into who they are, why they made their decisions.
Exactly right, and that was, you know, a label that's been thrown at quite a few of us over the last few years. I've certainly had that thrown at me, you know, despite having every other vaccine going in my life apart from this one. So it's a very weird concept, but again, it's all part of the divide and conquer stuff. Indeed. Just to, you know, keep the masses compliant.
Indeed. Well, look, Matt Le Tissier, the perfect person to pay tribute to the wonderful Djokovic. What a weekend it was. Thank you, Matt. And we'll speak next week.